First votes of the 2024 campaign are just 3 days away. Republican presidential candidates are trying to motivate supporters to come out and vote in what's expected to be the coldest Iowa caucus day on record. ABC's Alex Perche joins me now from Des Moines, along with host of the 538 Politics podcast, Galen Druk. Alex, how is this unprecedented weather expected to impact voter turnout?
Well, Diane, right now the real concern is, does it encourage people to stay indoors and not necessarily caucus? I can tell you right now, the National Weather Service has issued a blizzard warning. Sam Champion was going through just all the issues across the country, but we were feeling that here in Iowa. DeSantis and Haley have already canceled events today, and these freezing temperatures and snow expected to last through the weekend into Monday. And so there is a concern that at 6 p.m. you're getting off of work, assuming that folks are able to get to work on Monday, to go stand in line to caucus for that 7. Those temperatures are going to be hovering around freezing with wind chills possibly as low as -20. What does that do to turnout?
Galen, Trump is still leading national primary polls by a lot. Haley and DeSantis are something like 50 percentage points behind him. Could that backfire on him, where his supporters just assume that he's got this and so they don't bother coming out in the cold?
Well, I guess I would put the question back and say, how many Trump supporters have you heard from who are, supporting Trump but not that enthusiastic about it and are just going to let other people sort of take care of the voting and decide? I don't think we're going to see that. I talked to a panel of Haley supporter, DeSantis supporter, and Trump supporter yesterday, and what I heard from the Trump supporter in particular was, I will be there if it's -50 degrees, I'm showing up. I should say there are some questions, serious questions about turnout in an environment like this. I mean, it's hard to even go outside right now in Des Moines, and it's going to be like that across the state. So there is a question, because the caucuses require a highly coordinated effort on behalf of the campaigns to get caucus captains out to motivate people to go, because this is an hours-long process that's going to be held in freezing cold temperatures. Obviously, it's not going to be outside, but they're going to have to go through freezing cold temperatures to get there. And so it's going to maybe be the more coordinated, more enthusiastic voters who show up. And the conventional wisdom at this point is that low turnout is worse for Trump. We can get into that a little bit, but I think there are serious questions one way or the other. Either way, he's leading by a lot, and I don't know that ultimately a win for Trump is in serious question or jeopardy right now, but we'll have to see.
So, Alex, what are you hearing from voters about the candidates in this final home stretch?
Well, I think to Galen's point, there's been a huge push on how do we actually get to our caucus sites, and what does that look like? Certainly some concern there. I mean, look, the last couple of days, we've had last-minute pushes from a lot of these campaigns here on the ground. You had Trump, who had the town hall that was competing with that final debate between Nikki Haley and Governor DeSantis. And look, but the big picture here is, I think a lot of Iowans that we've talked to by this point know who they plan to caucus for. Many have at least whittled it down to a top 2. And so the message has been, how do we get to these caucus sites? Certainly hearing from the ground game from these caucus captains for various campaigns about organizing and making sure that their people are in a position to brave these freezing temperatures.
Now, Galen, a new ABC News Ipsos poll found that Americans are divided on how the Supreme Court should handle whether Trump should be on the primary ballot in certain states. More than half said the Supreme Court should bar Trump or let states decide. What does that mean with these first votes just days away?
Yeah, so this is a significant poll, and we've seen some pretty close divisions in other polling as well. So I would say Americans are relatively divided on this. But as you mentioned, in this most recent poll, the majority saying he either should be kept off the ballot or it should be left up to states. This is on the minds of voters. You actually hear it quite a bit when you talk to folks. What I heard yesterday from the DeSantis and Haley supporter that I mentioned I was talking to is that's part of the reason that we're not supporting Trump, is we don't know what's going to happen to Trump throughout 2024. What I heard from the Trump supporter was, hey, if anything does happen, we've got other options. The RNC can take care of this. You know, he said, I like the other candidates running, and if we end up with one of them because they win the nomination or because something happens, so be it. I've also heard from other voters who say, yeah, I'm not that into Trump, but I don't like the idea of Trump being kept off the ballot. We should be able to choose. And that's something that you hear quite a bit amongst people who may not even plan to caucus for Trump, because they're not that engaged in politics, but still think that this, being kept off the ballot would be wrong.
All right, ABC's Alex Verche, Galen Druk in Iowa, thank you both. And we will have full coverage of the Iowa caucuses next Monday, January 15th, right here on ABC News Live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.